Cutting Ties, Unveiling the Trauma Behind the No Contact Rule. Welcome to a short but crucial episode of Information for Life, insights and ideas to navigate your world. Today we touch an emotionally loaded topic, often seen as a cure-all solution for heartbreak, the no contact rule. The no contact rule, the deliberate decision to cut off all forms of communication with an ex-partner, has been widely propagated as the go-to strategy post-breakup. But today, we are challenging this notion. We'll explore how the no contact rule can, in fact, be traumatic and psychologically damaging for both parties involved. The no contact rule explained. The no contact rule, for the unacquainted, is a period after a breakup when you completely cease all forms of communication with your ex-partner. Sherman, 2019. On paper, it's the equivalent of a cold turkey approach to breaking free from addictive behaviors or substances. It's supposed to provide clarity, healing, and personal growth. However, the reality is often messier and darker, as this rule often leads to a labyrinth of pain and emotional turmoil. Trauma of rejection. The nature of the trauma experienced by the person on the receiving end of the no contact rule can be traced back to our very essence as humans. We are inherently social creatures who have thrived for thousands of years due to our ability to forge connections and relationships. When we speak of a significant relationship, such as a romantic partnership, the bond goes beyond superficial interaction. It forms an integral part of our emotional and psychological construct. Thus, when such a deep-rooted connection is suddenly severed, it incites a sense of severe rejection. The magnitude of this rejection can be attributed to our brain's response. Neuroscientific studies have uncovered that our brain interprets emotional pain similarly to physical pain. Naomi Eisenberger, a social psychologist at the University of California, Los Angeles, conducted an experiment using functional MRI to study brain activity. Her work revealed that when participants felt socially excluded or rejected, it activated the same neural pathways as physical pain. This neural overlap means that the pain of social disconnection can feel as intense and real as physical injury. Eisenberger, 2012. In the context of the no contact rule, the abrupt cutting of ties can stimulate a strong emotional response akin to intense physical pain. This rule mandates complete silence and avoidance, leaving the person on the receiving end feeling rejected and excluded, without a chance for closure or understanding. This emotional turmoil can be as painful as a physical wound, resulting in distress and suffering that can take a considerable toll on a person's mental health. It's also important to note that the implementation of the no contact rule often happens without a clear explanation or dialogue, further escalating the feelings of rejection and confusion. Without an understanding of the reasons for the sudden disconnect, the person left behind might ruminate over the situation, feeding their anxiety and contributing to prolonged emotional distress. Hence, the no contact rule can induce a level of emotional pain that matches the intensity of physical pain, leading to significant psychological trauma and emotional distress. False hope and anxiety. While it's easy to assume that the one initiating the no contact rule navigates away without emotional harm, the reality often presents a different picture. People who deploy the no contact rule can, in fact, also experience their own form of emotional distress. This distress primarily stems from a somewhat paradoxical source: hope. Lewandowski and Bizocco, 2007, conducted a study investigating breakup strategies and post-dissolution recovery. They found that the initiators of the no contact rule often harbor a secret hope that their absence will lead their ex-partners to realize what they've lost and return. This desire is a natural human response, as we seek to validate our worth and importance to others, particularly those we've shared intimate relationships with. However, this hope often turns detrimental rather than serving as a beacon of optimism. It's problematic because it keeps the person in a state of emotional limbo, clinging on to the possibility of reconciliation. This uncertain state can cause a prolonging of emotional pain and distress as they grapple with their feelings and expectations versus the reality of the situation. The psychological toll this takes can be extensive, as the individual is unable to move forward due to this lingering hope. Additionally, the initiator often feels guilt and regret, adding another layer of complexity to their emotional landscape. They may question their decision to implement the no contact rule, causing them additional distress and preventing them from achieving the emotional healing they need. This dynamic underscores that the impact of the no contact rule is far-reaching and complex, affecting both parties involved in ways that can be both surprising and deeply traumatic. Loss of shared identity. The concept of shared identity is integral to the dynamics of a romantic relationship. During the course of a relationship, couples gradually fuse their individual identities, forming a shared identity. This shared identity is akin to a collective consciousness, intertwining their individual personalities, habits, and life experiences. This interweaving of identities is a powerful process. It brings two individuals closer together, creating a bond that feels like a single entity. Consequently, when a relationship ends, especially abruptly via the no-contact rule, it feels like tearing apart this conjoined entity. The result is a profound sense of loss and a challenging identity crisis. Slaughter and Gardner, 2012. This sudden identity crisis, resulting from the dissolution of the shared identity, often spirals into feelings of loneliness, disorientation, and emptiness. Without their shared identity, individuals may struggle to remember who they are as standalone entities. This struggle is further compounded by the abruptness of the no-contact rule, providing little to no time for individuals to prepare or adjust to their new reality. Further, Slaughter and Gardner's research also highlights the concept of self-concept clarity, the clear and confident understanding of one's own attitudes, traits, and beliefs. This clarity is often disrupted after a relationship ends, leading to greater emotional distress. This disruption is a significant factor in the trauma experienced after a breakup, as individuals grapple with this sudden, dramatic change to their self-perception and identity. Nothing happens in a vacuum. The consequences of the no-contact rule do not occur in isolation. The psychological and emotional effects intertwine with our broader psychological well-being and past experiences. Our relationships do not exist in a vacuum, but are part of a complex system of interpersonal relationships that shape and are shaped by our individual psychology. Baumeister and Leary, 1995. The traumas resulting from the no-contact rule, rejection, false hope, and the loss of shared identity are not just the direct consequences of the breakup. They are also manifestations of past emotional wounds, latent insecurities, and our inherent need for social connections. This understanding is critical because it emphasizes that the trauma of the no-contact rule cannot be addressed or healed in isolation. A comprehensive healing process must consider the broader psychological landscape and the individual's unique history. Shaver and Mikulincer, 2007. Potential to destroy future relationships. The psychological trauma inflicted by the no-contact rule can have lasting implications on an individual's future relationships. The pain of the abrupt rejection and the loss of shared identity can lead to fear and avoidance of future intimate relationships. This fear stems from the anxiety of experiencing similar emotional pain and rejection, causing individuals to build emotional walls or engage in self-sabotaging behaviors in relationships. Spielman et al., 2013. Moreover, the false hope held by the initiator of the no-contact rule can distort their perception of relationships. They may develop unrealistic expectations or become stuck in the past, hindering them from forming healthy relationships in the future. Lewandowski and Bizocco, 2007. It's clear that the no-contact rule, while promising quick healing and emotional detachment, often delivers psychological trauma that extends far beyond the immediate aftermath of a breakup. These traumas not only impact the individuals involved, but can also influence their future relationships, perpetuating a cycle of emotional pain and dysfunctional relationship patterns. Indeed, while the no-contact rule may bring about significant emotional distress, there are situations where it might be the best or even the necessary course of action. Agreed upon no contact. In some cases, both parties might mutually agree that a no-contact rule is the best way to heal and move on from the relationship. It's crucial that this decision is truly mutual and not subtly coerced or agreed upon reluctantly. Both individuals must fully comprehend and agree that the absence of contact is the most effective method for them to heal and gain clarity. This agreement can be beneficial in several ways. Firstly, it provides closure, as both parties have a clear understanding of why the relationship ended and why contact is being severed. This understanding can reduce feelings of rejection and confusion that often accompany unilateral decisions to implement the no-contact rule, Sparra and Emery, 2005. Secondly, a mutual agreement often involves an open discussion about the reasons for implementing the no-contact rule. This dialogue provides a platform for expressing feelings, seeking explanations, and obtaining a sense of closure. This transparency can lessen the negative emotional impact, as both individuals have an opportunity to voice their thoughts and feelings, reducing the possibility of misunderstandings or false hope. Wagner and Larson, 1994. Abusive relationships. In cases of abusive relationships, be it physical, emotional, or psychological abuse, the no-contact rule might be essential for the victim's safety and psychological well-being. It's important to note that an abusive relationship is not confined to physical violence. It also encompasses manipulation, gaslighting, emotional blackmail, and other forms of psychological abuse. Dutton, 2007. In such situations, Maintaining contact with the abuser can lead to further harm, exacerbate the trauma, and even deter the healing process. The no-contact rule provides the victim a much-needed break from the abuser's control and manipulation, enabling them to start the healing process and regain their sense of self. Walker, 1979. Moreover, in abusive relationships, the victim often develops a trauma bond with their abuser, a strong emotional attachment, which makes it difficult for them to break free from the abuse. Carnes, 1997. The no-contact rule can assist in breaking this trauma bond, facilitating the victim's journey towards recovery and healing. Domestic Shelters, 2020. While these situations do support the implementation of the no-contact rule, it's vital to remember that they are very specific circumstances. The majority of relationship breakups, even those that are painful or fraught with emotions, do not fall into these categories. Therefore, in general, the alternative strategies discussed next are usually far healthier and more beneficial options for most individuals. The healthier and more mature alternative. Navigating the stormy aftermath of a breakup doesn't have to follow the path of the no-contact rule. Instead, there are healthier alternatives that can help mitigate the emotional distress and psychological turmoil that can often accompany this approach. Setting clear and healthy boundaries. This means establishing guidelines about what kind of contact, if any, is acceptable, how often, and under what circumstances. This could involve limiting communication to necessary interactions only, avoiding emotional discussions about the relationship, or determining to have no contact at all for a specified period. Clear boundaries provide structure, can alleviate anxiety, and establish mutual respect during a challenging time. Sherman, 2019. Practicing self-compassion. Breakups can trigger a cascade of self-deprecating thoughts and negative self-talk. Practicing self-compassion means treating oneself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that one would offer to a close friend. This includes acknowledging the pain and allowing oneself to feel it, instead of suppressing it. Neff, 2011. Considering professional therapy. After a breakup, one may experience intense emotions that feel overwhelming. Professional therapists can provide a safe space to express these emotions and offer coping strategies. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for example, can help individuals understand and reframe their thought patterns to better manage emotions and behaviors post-breakup. Benjamin, 2018. Dedicating time to personal growth and self-discovery. A breakup can be a pivotal time for personal growth and self-discovery. This period can be used to explore personal interests, develop new skills, or engage in activities that bring joy and satisfaction. Fostering personal growth can also boost self-esteem and resilience, paving the way for healthier future relationships. Banks, Shawcross, and Collins, 2021. These alternative strategies can help individuals navigate the aftermath of a breakup in healthier ways, ultimately facilitating a smoother transition towards healing and growth. It is crucial to remember that the no-contact rule isn't the healing balm it's painted to be. It's important to remember that everyone's healing process is unique, and what works for one may not work for another. That's all for today, folks. As always, thank you for tuning into Information for Life, insights and ideas to navigate your world. Until next time, remember, we're not just about surviving life's trials, we're about thriving despite them.